Hey guys, Chris here again, and today I've got a really cool project for you because I am building the Coffin Nail by Albknives. So Ben sent me over one of his blanks of knives. They were already water jet cut because I asked him and I just wanted to make one of his knives because I love that design. And of course, I have also sent him one of my knives, so you have to definitely check out his channel for more results. So stay tuned to the end of the video because you will also see a sneak peek what he did with my design. And you know the drill, I have to do a preheat treatment grind. His knife is made out of O1 tool steel, so we'll do a little bit of preheat treatment grind, but I don't want to grind the knife too thinly because the knife is only 3 millimeters thick and I don't want to have any kind of warps during the heat treatment. And now I can go straight into the heat treatment and into the oil quench. And after the oil quench, the knife went right into the tempering oven for 2 hours, and then I could start with the final grind. I always love projects like that because it shows even though the template is the same, but the maker puts his maker mark on it. He does his finish, he does its grinds, he does its handle textures and all that kind of stuff. And it always shows that each knife maker has their own style, and I think projects like that is always cool and fascinating to watch what they're doing with your designs. And when Ben showed me what he did with my design, I was super happy because he made it really amazing. He put his style on it, and you can definitely tell it's an Albknives knife, and I love that. I loved what he did out of my design, so please stay to the end of the video. Ben loves to put full flat grinds on it, and he speaks out of my heart because I also put a lot of full flat grinds on my knives, but for this one I wanted to make a kind of saber grind and just see how the knife looks without a full flat grind and with a saber grind, and I think it turned out really cool. And with all the grinding, again guys, keep your knives cool. You don't want to burn your edge while you're grinding, so fresh belts and keep that knife cool, and check that you don't overheat your bevel because you don't want to have that to happen and ruin your knife. So let's also talk a little bit about Albknives while you're watching me grinding. Ben started 10 years ago with knife making. He is 40 years old, and normally his focus is on chef knives, and with his Coffin Nail design he makes an amazing EDC knife, and it is super popular in our EDC community. And I can understand why. It's such a unique and amazing knife design, and I love it. And that's why I'm super glad that he allowed me to make one of his knives, because I always told him, Ben, I love your design. I want to make one of these knives. And I was already on his podcast with Spira Knives and also with Ben, of course, with the 63 HRC podcast. Some of you may have heard me there already 2 times on that podcast, and I always said it, Ben, I love your design, and now I can finally make it. So for the listeners that also listen to the podcast, they already know that I love Tiffany. The color is amazing. It is a unique color that you don't see that often in the knife community, and I just love it. I also have a sticker that says "Make Tiffany Great Again," so I have to put Tiffany, of course, on that knife. I have to stay true to my roots. And I also have one episode that is called The King of Rock Pattern, if I remember correctly. But today I only do partially rock pattern because I also going to try out a new texture which will look amazing in the end. And now I have to cut out the Tiffany material on my bandsaw, and then I'm using the can twist clamps to clamp all the handle material to the knife to then drill out the holes and also drill in the step into the handle material so the screw head will fit into the handle material. And this is also something different because Ben is gluing up his knives and I'm using screws, which will also change a little bit the design aspect, I think, and it will give it a little bit different kind of look in the end. And what I also do is I always take one of my endometer scales because I want to make all my knives with the same ending of the handle scales, and and therefore I'm just using my Sharpie and scribing it in. This is kind of a design philosophy. I would say it's a corporate identity, so people will recognize me for certain design aspects that I'm going to choose in the end on my knives. And it is again the same procedure. After the handle material is cut out, I'm going to profile it on my belt grinder, and then I'm going to start with the rock pattern on a 120 grit ceramic belt. And with the G10, I'm always trying to use fresh belts, because fresh belts, they cut G10 and especially my cutter much nicer than your used 120 grit belts that you maybe already have ground your bevels on. It grinds so much faster, so much nicer, you don't have any kind of burn marks. And I'm also adding the rock pattern on the spine of the blade because I cannot do the new texture on hardened steel, and therefore I'm trying to get a really nice combination of rock pattern and also the new texture, and you guys have to be the judge. Is it cool? Is it not? Tell me down below when you're finished watching the video if you like the new style, the new handle texture. It would be really interesting to know what you think about the new texture. And I haven't seen this texture yet on that many knives. I cannot remember any kind of knife maker that does a style like that. Maybe you know someone, so put it down below so I can check out their work. I don't want to put it on this texture. I have created this texture, but I haven't seen it yet on another knife. So maybe I found out a new way to make a texture, maybe not. I don't want to steal anyone's glory. And now I'm starting with the new handle texture. I'm using the same Dremel bit that I'm using for the stippling. And what I do, I don't stipple the material. I drag the round burr down the knife in a kind of wavy pattern, and in the end you're kind of getting that bark-like look that you're getting from a tree. And now that the texture is done, I have to disassemble the knife because of course I have to stonewash the knife, but beforehand I have to blacken the knife, and I'm using a quick gun bluing for darkening down the material, and after that I have to put it into my stonewashing machine. And after the stonewash, the knife is nearly done. It just needs an edge, and I'm doing that on my Tormex. And I start with a 180 grit stone, a 600 grit stone, and then the last stone is a 1200 grit stone, and after that I can strop it on a leather wheel. And yes, my camera is quite dirty. I definitely have to clean it up, but now I can finally oil the handles, and there you go guys, the knife is done. And I love that design. And please guys, check out Ben from Albknives. He makes amazing knives, and I put all his links down below, so please check out his stuff. And here's also a little sneak peek from the design that he made out of my knife, so please check out his work. He is an amazing knife maker. So guys, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more content like that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you got any kind of questions, just drop them down below, and we'll see us in the next one.